Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Grandstream GWN 7801P 8-port PoE managed Layer 2 Plus network switch. And this switch, as I said, is a Layer 2 Plus, which means it can handle and create VLANs and do port tagging. And it also has 8 PoE ports, so it can power doorbells, cameras, access points, and it also supports PoE and PoE Plus devices. So let's do an unboxing, take a look at the specs for this, and then what we'll do is get it installed in my network cabinet, and then I'll show you the managed interface, various options in there, and a quick overview of it. And then in a future video, what we'll do is set up some VLANs. This has been sent to me free of charge by Grandstream, so thanks very much Grandstream for that. And it's sent to me so that I can show you a review of it and what their switches can do. And they're all very well priced as well. And also the build quality of these switches is great. So what we'll do is get the unboxing done now and take a look at the device, and then I'll show you the managed web interface. So here we are, and as usual, the Grandstream switches. So they come in these plain packaging boxes, which you can of course just recycle the cardboard boxes or keep them if you so wish. At the back we have the barcode, serial number, and also the model number, which is a GWN 7801P, and the P meaning it's a PoE. Inside the box we have the usual quick installation guide, which Grandstream always provide with their devices, which is brilliant to see. And then at the side compartment in the box we have a UK power lead. So it's a 3-pin plug with the usual connector on it, which we'll just take a look at. And it has the standard, what I call kettle connection plug on the end. We also have 2 rack mount ears supplied in a plastic bag. So this is rack mountable, and it's also desktop mountable should you so wish, as they provide feet which you can put on the switch should you so wish, and of course the 2 rack mount ears, which I'll be using to mount in my network rack. And also there's a earth cable as well, which you can connect to the back of the switch and then to an earthing terminal should you have an earthing terminal available. It has a shiny front with some plastic film to stop this getting scratched at the front. 78 series, all of these have the shiny fronts on them. And then we have 8 PoE ports, as you'll see here, and port 1 is the bottom left port, so 8 being the top right port. And of course we have the plastic film, which I will take off. And also on this there's 2 SFP ports, 1 gigabit ports. Now there's also a console port here as well, so you can connect it via a console should you so wish, and that's an RJ45 port. So we'll just peel off this plastic film to reveal the shiny front. There's also on this a reset button which is recessed, and that's next to the console port here. And then we also have a system LED light there which provides a status. There's also lights at the bottom here, so there's 2 rows, 4 lights which provide the status for these 8 RJ45 PoE Ethernet ports. Now this is silent in operation, and at the back we have the power input, and then we have 2 more grills either side of that, so there's plenty of ventilation there. So that's basically the Grandstream 7801P Layer 2 Plus managed network switch. And at the bottom of course we have the serial number label and the barcodes, and also the MAC address, and also the factory default password. Now the specs for this are as follows: 8 1 gigabit ports, as I said, and they are PoE ports. It supports ARP inspection, IP source guard, DOS protection, port securing, and DHCP snooping. There's also an embedded network controller in each of their devices, and in this one I'll show you the web interface as I've said earlier in the video, and we'll do that next once we've got it installed into my rack. Now it supports deployment in both IPv6 and IPv4 networks, and it also has built-in quality of service which allows for prioritization of network traffic. For the PoE standard, it's IEEE 802.3 AF and AT, so that means it's PoE and PoE Plus as well. The maximum power output per PoE port is 30 watts, so it has a maximum power budget of 150 watts, and each port can support up to a maximum of 30 watts for the PoE power. The non-blocking throughput is 10 gigabits per second. The switching capacity is 20 gigabits per second, and the forwarding rate is 14.88 million packets per second. 4000 VLANs, port-based VLAN, IEEE 802.1Q, VLAN tagging, and also supports voice VLAN as well. It also supports spanning tree, which can have 16 instances for STP, RSTP and MSTP. It also supports multicast of IGMP snooping, MLD snooping and MVR. It also supports QoS and ACL, so that's auto detection and prioritization of voice, video, RTP, SIP, other latency sensitive packets as well. It also supports DHCP, so it has a built-in DHCP server should you wish to use the facility on this. It also supports DHCP relay, option 82, 60, 160 and 43. For the security, it uses 802.1x authentication, AAA authentication including radius and storm control, IP source guard, DOS attack prevention, ARP inspection and DHCP snooping as well. So that's basically the Grandstream GWN7801P 8-port PoE network switch. I'll get this installed in the rack and then I'll take you through a quick tour of the management interface. So here we are, and what I've done is obtained the IP address for the GWN7801P managed network switch, and as I've said, it's a layer 2 plus network managed switch, which basically means it can handle VLANs, port tagging and so on, as can all Grandstream layer 2 plus switches and also their layer 3 switches as well. So here you'll be taken to the sign in page, and for the username, the default username for all Grandstream products, or most of them anyway, is admin, all in lowercase, and the password is unique to each Grandstream device, and that can be found on the label on the device. So once you've obtained those two, log in by completing the boxes, click sign in, and then this will eventually load. You see the blue progress bar at the top loading the management interface. This will take you into the system info screen, where you'll see the basic information about the switch, the MAC address, the name of the switch, the management VLAN, so it's VLAN 1, the IP address and the system uptime, and also the version for the system, which is 1.0.5.22 at the moment. Going down we have port info. If you click on this, it will then load, just take a second or two to load. So here in the port information you'll see we've got port status. So moving down we have basic info for each port, so you can just click on this and view the information about each port. Then what you can do at the left hand side is in switching, you'll see we've got port basic settings, and here it tells you about each port on the router, and under the operation column you can actually click on that pen icon and edit the information should you so wish. We have link aggregation, so you can actually aggregate links on ports to make link aggregation groups. You can have up to 8 link aggregation groups on here. Moving it down at the left hand side, we've got the MAC address table. Then moving down at the left hand side we have VLANs. So here is where you would tag the VLANs to each of the ports. As you can see, we've got untagged, so they're all untagged, port 1 through to 10. Moving down at the left hand side we have then spanning tree. So it supports spanning tree protocol, which is disabled at the moment by default. Then moving down at the left hand side we have, under the IP section, we have VLAN interface. So here is where you would create your VLANs. So at the moment we've got VLAN 1, and as you'll see under IPv4 address, it's the address of the router or router, whichever you like to call it, and depending on where you're located. Moving down at the left hand side we have DHCP server. So this switch can act as a DHCP server as well, rather than having your router doing the DHCP IP address handouts. You can have the switch doing it, and then also you can have DHCP relay as well. So if you want to relay it to another DHCP server, you could do. Then we have the IARP table at the left hand side. Then moving down we have multicast, so you can have IGMP snooping and also MLD snooping as well, which is supported on this switch. And then next to that we have routing. Moving down we have PoE, so under PoE we have global. So here you will see that it's got PoE interfaces, total PoE power, reserve power, configured power, and so on. So it's providing statistics about the PoE interface status for this switch. Then at the left hand side we have QoS, which is quality of service. We have the usual port priority mapping, queue scheduling, queue shaping, rate limit, and so on. Then moving down we have security, and we have storm control, port security, port isolation, ACL, IP source guard, IPv6 source guard, anti-attack, DAI, radius. So it does support radius, as you'll see here. We just add the entries, and it also supports TAC, ACS+, AAA records, also supports 802.1x, and here we also have DHCP snooping and DHCP version 6 snooping as well. So not only does it support a full set of IPv4, it also supports full set of IPv6 options. Then moving down we have maintenance, and the first option is upgrade. Now here is where you would select the firmware file which you'd already downloaded. So you browse your PC, put the firmware file in, and then update it by clicking OK. Or what you can do is paste in the firmware server path here, which is on the Grandstream update site and which changes often. So what you would need to do is obtain the link, copy and paste it in there, and then the switch would download the firmware itself and automatically upgrade itself. So under upgrade we have diagnostics. So clicking on this you'll see we've got various log options at the top here, which you can go into to diagnose any issues or problems with it. Then moving down we have backup and restore, so you can back up the configuration, factory reset the switch should you so wish. Then the last menu at the bottom is for system, and here we have basic settings, which provides the device name, location, date and time settings, NTP server where it syncs its time to, and also your time zone so often. And you could also, if you want, have a reboot schedule, so you could actually reboot the switch say once a month during downtime should you so wish. Then the last option is time policy. So here you would create a time policy, for example, for the reboot option. So you could create a time policy to reboot your switch when the systems are not being used, for example. So that's it for this video. Hope you found it useful, and if you're thinking of buying any Grandstream products, hope you found this video helpful for that, to give you an insight of what the Grandstream switches can do. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.